Hey there and welcome back to XCOM 2. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of our Legend Ironman walkthrough of XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. First of all, before we get going, I want to apologize in advance if my voice might sound a bit weird here and there. I got hit in the mouth playing basketball yesterday and have a bit of a swollen lip right now, and I'm not entirely sure if you're going to hear that or not. Either way, last time we left off after an achievement-filled mission that saw us skulljack a codex. That in turn spawned an avatar, which we promptly killed with our Spark Julian, cashing in on the rare opportunity to unlock the Matter Over Mind achievement. We then ended the episode on the question of what to purchase at the black market, and I think I have an answer. We are in fact going to grab ourselves Colonel John Hancock, another sharpshooter. At the moment, the sharpshooter is arguably one of our thinnest positions. We only have Sapphire West and Tsunami at considerably high ranks, so this here gives us a third option, not to mention another Patreon-created character. And so let us now meet John Hancock, nickname Pale Rider, created and submitted by patron Falcon Enforcer. And looking rather smug here, his biography reads as follows: like his namesake, John couldn't stand tyranny. When the Advent administration took control, he saw it for what it was. He worked alone for the first several years before joining XCOM, not because he's the lone wolf type, he's just awkward. Well, Mr. Hancock, I would say welcome to the team, and we are now going to build him up in what I consider to be the optimal late-game build for a sharpshooter, at least one that has access to the Hunter's Dark Lance and Dark Claw. So the abilities we are choosing here: Long Watch, Lightning Hands, Death from Above, Face Off, Steady Hands and Fanfire, neatly alternating between the Gunslinger and Sniper tree. We do, however, also have 18 ability points to spend on top of that, so let's quickly hop over to the training center, where in addition to the 6 skills we already purchased, we are also going to grab Deadeye and Quick Draw. Those two, I believe, are then rounding out the build rather nicely, allowing John here to deal considerable amounts of damage both with the sniper rifle as well as with the pistol. His randomly selected bonus skills then Phantom, which I don't really think is necessary for a sharpshooter, Rapid Fire, which could be very useful but is also very expensive, and then Volatile Mix and Guardian, the latter situationally useful, but nothing that we are going to spend any points on at this time. Instead, let's quickly head over to Twitchy, who in the last episode grabbed a promotion, and for her, Volatile Mix is obviously a whole lot more interesting, so let's grab it. She even has a few points still left to spare. At this point then, the question is what to do on the world map. We currently have 3 rumors to choose from: heavy weapon, assorted loot and intel. And well, considering that we just spent a whole lot of it, I think intel makes the most sense. We will most likely also need to return to the black market this month to purchase more Illyrium, simply because we still have a good number of interesting items still left to build. And so we can begin scanning, but as you can see, not for long, as it appears that today's mission has arrived. We need to rescue a VIP, in this case an engineer, from an Advent vehicle. That engineer not really what we need at the moment, the intel very much is though, not to mention that the Shadow Chamber also tells us that we will find at least 1 Advent trooper on this mission, which might just allow us to unlock another achievement.
Setting course for the Chilean Controlled District.
That achievement, the one for skulljacking each type of Advent soldier, plus the codex that we already grabbed last episode, and so as you can see, Specialist Van Dyke is properly equipped. Pale Rider Hancock also immediately joins us on this mission, and we are also looking to score a few heavy weapon kills, which is why we have the blaster launcher on Typhoon, and yes, we have a Psi operative in a war suit with the Hellfire projector. Let's see what Esteban Flores can do with that added versatility. Helleboris and Celica round out the roster, and I think with that we are good to go. Let's rescue ourselves a VIP.
Sky Ranger deployed.
Squad green to deploy.
The Resistance is asking for our help in rescuing a VIP currently being held by Advent in this region. We're moving in to neutralize any alien forces protecting the transport vehicle. Lock down the AO and secure the target package. Menace 1-5, we have a confirmed location for the VIP. Move to rendezvous. Eliminate all hostile contacts.
We're hidden. Let's keep it that way.
So here we go, 12 turns on the clock to rescue the VIP and evac everyone out of here. Just like in the last episode, we are also lucky enough to have another resistance soldier join us for this one. So it's 7 of ours against 11 enemy units. Honestly, that shouldn't be too difficult. Obviously, it is made a bit more tricky by Celica dropping down right next to a previously invisible civilian.
You ghosted our position.
And thus our squad's concealment is broken immediately. That is particularly annoying because it was the Reaper who got revealed, but I suppose we'll have to make do with this situation. As we then move up with Specialist Van Dyke, we also locate an Advent Watchtower. So let's see if the hack rewards are anything worth grabbing this early in the mission. And with the rewards only being supplies, I think we can go for it immediately. And let's not get greedy, we are going for the one that's guaranteed. And with a small supply cache secured, we can now move up with the rest of our squad, including Ranger Helleboris, who is the only one still hidden.
Begebe mich zu dieser Position. Feindliche Einheiten entdeckt.
And just like that, we have discovered our first enemies, a Codex, a Purifier, and the aforementioned Trooper. Let's see if we can perhaps catch them off guard as we move the rest of our squad into position and go on Overwatch.
Seems doable.
I'm on watch.
Come get some. Overwatch! Affirmative, covering now.
Alright, so far just the stomping of what I assume is the sector pod. But that one doesn't show itself just yet, and neither does the Codex. Instead, we have an Andromedon incoming, and thus reaction fire triggers immediately. The Andromedon then accompanied by a Viper, an enemy that we haven't seen for quite some time, and our Overwatchers are far from done yet. Now, unfortunately, Pale Rider Hancock misses his first shot as a part of our team. Typhoon, however, should be a bit more accurate.
I will always find you. That shouldn't happen. Adjusting sights.
Alright then, a full barrage of reaction fire later, and at least the Andromedon looks somewhat depleted. So at this point, taking both of these enemies out shouldn't be too difficult, I think. And let's take down the Andromedon with Esteban Flores and his Soulfire ability.
Your body grows weak.
No place for you to go now.
I got it, right?
So that brings out the shell, but its 21 hit points are manageable. And let's give the first shot to Resistance Soldier Amina, who thanks to the high ground actually has a guaranteed hit here. That connects for 7 points of damage, and that means with a bit of luck, Pale Rider Hancock can now grab his first kill. As usual with our sharpshooters, he's got blue screen rounds. Sadly though, he leaves the Andromedon standing with a single hit point, and so I suppose Grenadier Typhoon once again has to one-up him.
I definitely got that one.
Against the Viper then, we first of all recloak with Reaper Sleeper,
I was born in the shadows.
before we then send her out to see if the coast is clear.
I'm at your service. I have sight beyond vision.
And since she does not detect any further hostiles in the vicinity, we can now move in with Specialist Van Dyke.
Genug erwartet.
And as you can see, he's got a 90%er. Let's hope he can make it count. Alright, that hits, and that means Celica can now go for the cleanup and is guaranteed to remain in stealth. With Helleboris, meanwhile, we climb up onto the roof just to sneak up a little closer on the next enemy group, and that's where we will end our turn. The codex pod, however, does not move, and so with 10 turns left on the timer, we still have 9 more enemies to go. For the moment though, I think we'll spend this turn regrouping.
The patrol is upwind.
As is often the case on these missions, we then also have an advent patrol right in front of the VIP's truck, so that is now 6 of the remaining 9 enemies located. Once again though, we spent this turn just regrouping. Even if our options are somewhat limited, that codex pod can unfortunately see pretty far to the other side of the building. At the very least, this gives us the option to use the warsuit's shield wall for the first time. This now turns Esteban into a high cover object that Typhoon can hide behind.
If you say so.
That's about all we can do for this turn though, so let's finish things on Overwatch. Once again then, unfortunately, neither one of the advent pods makes a move, and so it's up to us to initiate the attack.
I go where I am needed. You cannot run!
So we get Celica into position and then deploy a Claymore, dropping it right on top of Codex, Purifier and Trooper.
A delicate placement.
And thanks to squad side, Pale Rider Hancock can now blow that Claymore up, very importantly, without actually killing the Trooper. Now, obviously, this forces the Codex to clone itself, adding another enemy to the fight.
The target is marked.
However, considering the overall number of hit points remaining here, I think we should be able to handle things. And so, let's get to it. We begin by revealing Ranger Heliborus. However, this now puts him in a lovely flanking position against the Purifier, and as you can see, even without a critical hit, the kill is guaranteed. Now, unfortunately, I may have briefly forgotten about Purifiers exploding, and as a result, the roof underneath Heliborus' feet collapses and our Ranger takes 2 points of fall damage. Not the end of the world, but definitely avoidable. Either way, let's continue by having Resistance Fighter Amina take aim at one of the 2 Codex clones. With an 86% hit chance, she might just get a kill. Alright, Amina certainly pulling her weight, that is great to see. Moving on then, we can have Typhoon kill the other Codex rather easily from a flanking position. And that leaves only the Trooper, who we want to skulljack for the achievement. However, doing so on this turn would most likely attract the attention of those 3 other Advent soldiers over by the truck, so for this turn we'll just preserve them with stasis,
Shields.
so that we can then attempt the skulljack with a few more actions left on the next turn. Heliborus then uses his extra action to get behind cover, and that ends our turn, with Van Dyke going on Overwatch.
Be advised, hostile interceptors are inbound on your current position. Firebrand has a limited window to provide extraction.
This message from Bradford then indicates that 1/3 of the timer has passed, but we are making good progress and are hopefully just about to make some more. However, it would be a bad idea to just rush in here and skulljack the Trooper. So instead, let's do some damage to the other Advent pod first, and once again we can do so with a Claymore from Celica. Obviously, we want to be very careful here not to blow up the truck itself. That sidewall, however, is fair game.
A deadly trap.
Moving on then, we are going to ignite that Claymore with a blaster bomb from Typhoon. The range is large enough for the projectile to easily get over there. Chances are that we kill at least one of the enemies, maybe even more. And once again, if we aim it just right, then it won't damage the truck too much, ensuring that our precious VIP survives the blast.
Tracking target.
So that's the shield bearer down. Officer and Lancer both remain with a single hit point each. As you can see, the truck has also caught fire, but it did not explode, and as a result, our VIP is now easily accessible. Now, it might get a bit toasty for them in there, but we'll worry about that in just a moment. For now, let's have Van Dyke attempt to skull mine the Trooper, and if that succeeds, then we will unlock another achievement. Alright, so regardless of whether or not we succeed with the hack here, the Brutal Collection achievement has been unlocked, and as always we are going for the high percentage reward, and as a result obtain some valuable intel.
Wir sind durch.
Very fittingly, this also earns Van Dyke the final promotion to Colonel. After 58 episodes, he is only the first specialist to achieve this rank. Now, against the other two enemies, we are first going to deploy Pale Rider Hancock's grappling hook, only to then drop him back down to the roof below, from where he has excellent hit chances against both enemies, but only one shot is truly guaranteed, and that's the pistol shot against the Lancer, so let's take that one.
Only the best.
The officer, meanwhile, is a guaranteed kill for Helleboris no matter what. The magic of stock damage ensures that we don't leave them standing. And with only 3 more enemies remaining on the map, we can now regroup, first using the implacable movements of Helleboris and Van Dyke, and then dashing forwards with everyone who still has some moves left. Once again then, no further enemies show themselves, and so we are now sending out our Reaper to officially rescue the VIP. Despite half the truck being blown to rubble, we first have to make contact for them to officially be able to move.
There is nowhere to hide. The VIP is moving with us
Menace
towards the
1-5,
evac.
status confirmed. VIP is in tow. Proceed to the extraction point.
I can smell the Elder's dogs.
Once again then, another small mistake on my part here, as I completely forgot that interacting with the VIP removes concealment, and so Celica is now revealed once more, and so are our last 3 enemies, a sector pod and another shield bearer and lancer. Despite all that, we are spending all turn dashing with Typhoon here. Don't worry though, we'll come back to him shortly. First of all though, let's blow up the Lancer, or at least most of them, with one of Celica's remote starts.
This'll be big.
Afterwards, we will use Esteban's Inspire ability to give Typhoon an extra action.
We have nothing to fear.
This is pretty much the same as teamwork, and in this situation right here, it definitely comes in handy. Now, with one more action left to spend, we can use Saturation Fire with Typhoon. The hit against the sector pod should be guaranteed, and we might just hit the Lancer too.
Hit them all!
Alright, fantastic, that's the Lancer dead and most of the sector pod's armor removed. Time for Hancock to deal some big damage now with Deadeye. Thanks to blue screen rounds, he can deliver up to 22 points of punishment. In any case, the hit is guaranteed.
Hit the plate!
And just like that, the sector pod is down to only 16 hit points. Probably best to get everyone into safety before it explodes. And by hunkering down, we can also extinguish the fire on our engineer, who had apparently been sizzling a little. Up next, we then take aim with another blue screen wielder in Van Dyke.
Diese Rüstung ist stark.
And then we activate Helleboris' run and gun.
Stürmen und schießen.
With that ability now active, we can dash him into a flanking position against the shield bearer.
In Ordnung.
However, before he goes in for the kill, he can first deliver the axe throw against the sector pod. At 98%, only bad luck can stop him. Against the shield bearer then, we deliver a chain shot. Once again, the hit chance here is good enough to risk it.
Wie viele waren das jetzt?
And so there we are, 7 turns remaining and all enemies have been defeated.
On the move!
So as we end our turn with a dash here, we can already think about getting ourselves to the evac zone.
They've brought
Menace
friends.
1-5, we're picking up an enemy transport inbound on your current position.
Obviously the aliens have different plans and send in reinforcements, but I don't think it will be too difficult to prepare for that. In the meantime, Helleboris can collect an Elerium core and 2 superior hair triggers, while we set up the rest of the squad in overwatching positions, ready to greet our enemies as they drop in. Eventually then, everyone is good to go, and we can activate overwatches all around.
Los, zeigt euch! I'm on it! Bitte Feuerschutz!
The enemy part then, Lancer, Mech and Priest, nothing that should give us too much trouble.
The forces of Advent I know where you are.
Überprüfe Visier.
Negative damage!
Right, so after an eventful round of reaction shots, we have exactly 0 enemy casualties, mostly thanks to the priest soaking up all the damage and then entering stasis. Still, this actually works in our favor somewhat, because it gives us an excellent opportunity to grab a kill with the Hellfire projector, one of the heavy weapons that we have not yet killed with, but need to for an achievement. Before we take care of all that achievement business, however, let's first soften up the mech, and then we hope that Typhoon hits the 97% against the Lancer. That he does, and so we now switch it over to Psi Operative Flores,
I guess that'll be okay.
who can now unleash the Hellfire projector against that Lancer. Coincidentally, with at least 6 points of damage, the kill is guaranteed.
It won't last long.
Alright, mark one more off the list. At this point I'm actually not entirely sure if that kill we scored earlier was attributed to the blaster launcher. Technically, the blaster launcher's explosion did blow up the claymore, which then killed the shield bearer. If the game does indeed count it that way, then we do have the blaster launcher and one more heavy weapon still left. If not, then it's only that one weapon, although we have not yet unlocked it. And after failing to give another kill to Helleboris, who still needs them, let's instead give it to Pale Rider Hancock.
Impressed yet?
After all, we do want him to have an impressive debut. At this point though, the mission is entering its final stages. High time to already get our VIP out of here and complete the second mission objective.
The VIP is with me. We're on our way out.
To finish our turn then, we just activate a few overwatches. Hopefully that's enough to catch the priest before they can attack themselves.
Reapers are always vigilant. On Overwatch!
And there we are. Celica takes out the priest with a reaction shot, and that should be it for this mission. And with 4 turns left, we have plenty of time to get everyone into the evac zone. And since nothing interesting happened along the way, let's skip right to the end here, and let's finish a mission that got us one step closer to full completion.
Returning as ordered.
Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
So then, here we are. Thanks to Helleboris' misstep, it was unfortunately not a flawless mission, but we saw a new face in action, unlocked another achievement, and also obtained ourselves a new engineer, although we will admittedly be hard-pressed to find anything useful for them to do. Nonetheless, let's send our heroes back to the base. Like I said, they helped us get one step closer towards full completion.
We must never allow these dissidents to fill our hearts with fear. The victory today is a minor footnote in history, a small bump on the path of salvation the elders have set forth for us.
I'm glad to see that our cooperation with the Resistance factions is going so well, Commander. Their soldiers seem to be a big help around here.
So then, 6 days of rest for Helleboris, I think we can live with that. Apart from that, nobody else is tired and Van Dyke has a promotion to take care of. And I think, looking at how we have built him up so far, the choice here is an easy one. Yes, Restoration is a very powerful emergency healing tool, but against multiple robotic enemies, the power of capacitor discharge cannot be overstated. So that's the one we're going with to complete the almost full path of Combat Hacker. Among our loot then, 35 supplies and 20 units of intel from our various hacking successes, not to mention a new engineer who we will get to meet in just a second.
Considering the limited resources available to you, Commander, you have still managed to exceed my expectations. Excellent work.
So, 95 units of intel richer, we celebrate the arrival of Dr. Brett Andre, nicknamed Boot Tools, after the Patreon supporter who created and submitted him. Brett's biography then reads as follows: having seen his fair share of missions, Brett has never truly been able to relax. His only goal is to get through each and every mission with his life. One day, he might get to return home and live the life he wished he could live, one of quiet and contentment. And, well, we might not be able to offer him that, but perhaps the next best thing, because with every single one of our engineer slots already filled, there is literally nothing more for Brett left to do, so I suppose he will just get to relax on board of the Avenger. And I also think that we have reached a good point to make the cut for today. You may have noticed that Celica and Typhoon have formed a bond, but unfortunately we can't train that one yet, as the training center is currently otherwise occupied. So before we head back into the world map, let's instead wrap things up for today. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.